Welcome to Managing the Future, the MIS podcast. We're your guide to, understanding the cutting edge of technology. Today, we're doing a deep dive into emerging technologies. This is super important stuff for anyone studying business, especially those of you in the Dr. Sam Pat College of Business, but really, it's for all future business professionals out there. Our goal: take these sometimes complex ideas from management information systems, break them down, make them engaging, easy to grasp, and show you how they actually apply to your future careers. Now, the insights we're digging into today, they come straight from the textbook, Connect Master, Management Information Systems. That's by Richard Tedmon and H.Schuessler Wilhelm, published by McGraw Hill in 2024. As you know, tech moves incredibly fast. It's constantly giving us new tools for, pretty much every part of life. So our mission here is to unpack some of the newest emerging tech. Some are already here, some are just around the corner, and we want to explore their impact, especially for you heading into the business world. Stick with us, and hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, share this deep dive, comment too.
Join the conversation as we manage the future of MIS together. Okay, let's unpack this then. It still kind of blows my mind when I think about how much stuff from like old sci-fi movies is just normal now. I mean, you remember those films, computers diagnosing people without a doctor in sight, or just talking to a machine to order groceries.
Oh, absolutely. Wild ideas back then.
Totally. But now, how have these things actually, shaped our world, and specifically the business landscape we're all going into?
It's pretty remarkable, isn't it, how fast that line blurred between a futuristic concept and just an everyday tool. And this deep dive, it's going to touch on tech in medicine, commerce, society, management, computing, even politics.
Yeah.
What's really crucial for us, especially thinking as future business leaders, is not just what these technologies are, it's grasping the deep and widespread effects they're having, how we live, how we work, how we actually conduct business. It's changing everything.
That really is the core of it, isn't it? And speaking of profound effects, let's kick off with medicine. The breakthroughs here are just, wow. Take Alzheimer's diagnosis. I was reading the machine learning can now spot it with, 71% accuracy in minutes.
That's right. It's a significant jump.
So thinking like a future business pro looking at healthcare, what's the real game changer there? I mean, beyond the obvious medical win, what does that kind of speed and precision mean for the business of healthcare?
That's a great question. Because that 71% accuracy, that speed, it isn't just a statistic. It's a real pivot point. The key insight for business, for you, is how machine learning is shifting healthcare, moving it away from just reacting to illness towards proactively preventing it or managing it much earlier. So for you, this opens up doors for new business models. Think early intervention services, wellness programs, different kinds of support, things that just weren't feasible when diagnosis was slower, less certain. And it also brings up big questions, right? How do healthcare providers change their operations? What new insurance models might pop up to cover this sort of predictive health approach?
Yeah, that's a massive shift in thinking. And sticking with operations, smart software is doing amazing things in medical imaging, too. I'm thinking about systems like ZebraMed's imaging analytics engine. From a business angle, how does software like that tackle the huge demand for scans? Demand that, let's be honest, often swamps the number of available radiologists.
Yeah, you've really nailed a major bottleneck in healthcare there: diagnostics. This kind of smart software, it assists radiologists, helps them find signs of disease in scans, brain, lung, liver, bones, even x-rays and mammograms. So for the business side, this means better efficiency. Your existing radiologists can handle more cases, potentially with higher accuracy. It could reduce burnout and ultimately get more patients seen faster. It's really about augmenting human expertise, not replacing it, just helping skilled people meet this growing global need more cost-effectively.
Augmenting, not replacing. That's key. And it keeps going. And we're even talking about virus-killing robots now. Intel's got this AI robot, Violet, using UV light to disinfect surfaces. Besides the clear health win, what's the business impact of a robot like Violet? Especially thinking about the challenges hospitals face during, say, COVID-19.
Right. Well, for hospital management and even the wider facilities management industry, this robot represents potentially huge savings in operational costs and, of course, improves safety. If you can reduce infection rates, you get fewer readmissions, lower liability risks, and just a safer place for staff and patients. So for businesses running hospitals or large facilities, investing in this automation isn't just about being clean. It's solid risk management. It's optimizing your workforce, freeing up people for those crucial patient-facing jobs.
Okay, so inside the hospital, tech is streamlining things. But what about getting essential supplies to the hospital? Or maybe to remote places that are tough to reach? That's where something really creative like the Icarus glider comes in, right? Tell us about those.
Yes, the Icarus. That stands for Inbound Controlled Air Releasable Unrecoverable Systems. Quite a mouthful. Basically, they're disposable cardboard gliders, self-guided. They're designed to deliver critical medical supplies, think vaccines, blood packs. They get released from a plane or a drone mid-air. Then, mini computers and sensors guide them down to specific landing coordinates. For businesses, especially in logistics or emergency response, this tackles that tricky last-mile delivery problem in difficult environments. It's a low-cost, disposable option for getting critical stuff where it needs to go, fast. A neat blend of efficiency and innovation.
Disposable cardboard gliders delivering medicine. That's clever. Okay, and sticking with medical systems, we're seeing robotics enabling remote checkups now too. Systems letting doctors do routine exams, access records, all without being physically present. It sounds like it could cut costs, boost availability. But I wonder about the trade-offs. For businesses considering this, is it all upside? Or are there big hurdles like the cost of the robots themselves or maybe losing that personal touch in healthcare?
That's a really crucial point. On the one hand, yes, these systems definitely promise cost savings for routine stuff, and they could expand access, especially to rural or underserved areas. That's a huge potential market. But on the other hand, the initial investment, the capital needed for these robots can be pretty significant. And for any business in healthcare, you've got to balance that drive for efficiency with the human element, right? That personalization patients really value. It's a delicate balancing act. It's probably about figuring out which parts of care can be automated effectively, freeing up the humans for the more complex, empathetic stuff.
Right, a careful strategic call for healthcare providers. And beyond the physical robots, there's the Internet of Medical Things, the IoMT. You mentioned it was huge during the pandemic.
Yeah.
How did IoMT specifically change healthcare then? And what does it signal about future business models in this space?
The IoMT, yeah, it's a specific type of IoT, and it really proved its worth during COVID-19. It enabled things like remote monitoring for self-quarantining patients, self-screening tools, connecting electronic health records seamlessly, rapid screening kiosks, and of course, a huge boost in telemedicine. For you business students, this really underscores the power of connected devices and data in remote care models. It's creating opportunities for companies that offer remote monitoring services, data analytics for public health insights, secure platforms for virtual doctor visits. It's fundamentally changing how healthcare gets delivered and managed.
It's amazing how a crisis accelerated that tech adoption. Okay, let's zoom out a bit. How do the underlying advances in computing itself make all these other innovations even possible?
That's a critical connection to make. Computing really is the engine driving almost everything we're talking about. Take quantum computers, for example. It's a completely different way of processing information. Normal computers use bits like light switches, either on 1 or off 0. Quantum computers use qubits. Now, qubits can be both 0 and 1 at the same time. It's called superposition, and they can be linked together in this spooky way called quantum entanglement. This means they can explore vast numbers of possibilities simultaneously, tackling problems that are just impossible for today's computers. For businesses, once quantum computing matures, expect exponential leaps in areas like drug discovery, complex financial modeling, material science, and even more powerful AI.
Okay, both 0 and 1 at once. That definitely bends the mind. And for storing all this data, we've got memristor storage coming up. Why should businesses care about that? How's it better than, say, the flash storage in our phones now?
Right, think of flash memory like those on-off switches again. A memristor is different. It's more like a dimmer switch that not only remembers its setting even when the power's off, but its resistance actually changes based on the electricity that has flowed through it. It remembers the history. This unique property means a single memristor can potentially store much more information than many transistors. So, the payoff for businesses. Think much smaller, much faster, and more energy-efficient devices. More powerful smartphones, more compact data centers. And it could enable totally new AI and IoT applications that need incredibly dense and efficient local data storage.
That sounds like a huge leap in efficiency. And what about storing data using light? That really sounds like science fiction.
It does, doesn't it? But researchers down at the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology developed a prototype chip. It uses light manipulated on a nanoscale to store data. The result is smaller, potentially more accurate, and incredibly energy efficient. Get this. It might even be able to run AI processes directly on the chip without needing an internet connection to the cloud. For companies, especially those working with AI at the edge, like on devices themselves or dealing with highly sensitive data, this could be huge. Highly efficient, secure, local processing power. Less reliance on the cloud, less latency, maybe better security.
Faster, smaller, more efficient seems to be the theme. And taking computing off planet, we've got things like the Cube rover for the moon. It's tiny, like a shoebox. How does that kind of specialized tech, for lunar exploration actually trickle down into business opportunities or advancements back here on Earth?
That's a great point. While Cube Rover's job is exploring the moon, the tech behind it has broader implications. A key innovation there is using multiple wireless charging stations. This solves big problems with physical connectors getting clogged with dust or needing precise docking. Now, think about where else that could be useful. Automated mining operations in harsh environments, disaster response robots, complex factory floors. For businesses, this points towards more robust, self-sufficient robotic systems that need less maintenance and can operate more continuously without human help. That means big operational savings and potentially new capabilities.
So MoonTech has Earth applications.
Cool.
And back to AI, Google DeepMind's AlphaGo Zero was a major milestone. What was so special about that program? What does its ability to learn by itself mean for, say, future business intelligence or automation?
AlphaGo Zero was really groundbreaking because it learned to master incredibly complex games, like Go, without learning from human games. It learned purely by playing against itself millions of times. It essentially taught itself, continuously improving based on its own experience and programmed goals. For businesses, this signals a powerful shift. We're moving towards AI that doesn't just analyze the data we feed it, but can potentially generate its own solutions and insights. Imagine an AI optimizing your supply chain by running countless simulations or discovering new marketing strategies, or even helping design novel products. It learns from its own virtual experience. That offers potentially huge competitive advantages.
An AI that teaches itself. That's really something else. Okay, let's shift gears slightly. How are these technologies weaving themselves into the fabric of society, impacting our daily lives and maybe helping tackle global challenges?
Right, connecting it to the bigger societal picture. Consider something like adaptive learning in education. Unlike traditional classrooms where everyone often gets the same lesson, adaptive learning systems use questions, track responses, and employ algorithms to tailor the learning experience to each individual student. For businesses in the edtech space, this is a massive opportunity. It lets them offer highly personalized learning paths. This can improve student outcomes and cater to different learning speeds and styles. The idea is it stops advanced learners getting bored and prevents learners who need more time from getting overwhelmed. Ultimately, that could lead to a better skilled workforce.
That makes a lot of sense for education. But in this data-heavy world, what about privacy? I hear terms like differential privacy being used by big players like the Census Bureau, Apple, Facebook. What is that exactly? And what does it mean for businesses trying to balance getting insights from data with protecting individuals?
The differential privacy is a really important concept. It's a set of mathematical techniques designed to let organizations collect and analyze aggregate data about groups, while providing strong mathematical guarantees about individual privacy. Basically, it involves adding a carefully calculated amount of statistical noise to the data before analysis. Enough noise so you can't pinpoint any single individual's information, but not so much that you can't still see the important overall trends in the group. For businesses, this isn't just a tech fix. It's becoming a crucial strategic tool. It helps build consumer trust and navigate complex data privacy regulations like GDPR or CCPA. It lets you get valuable insights without crossing ethical lines or breaking laws.
Okay, a complex but necessary balance there.
Yeah.
And thinking about global issues, climate change. How is tech, like the World Weather Attribution Project, helping us understand its impact? And how does that translate to business planning?
The World Weather Attribution Project, or WWA, is fascinating. They use a combination of observational weather data, climate models, and peer-reviewed research. Their goal is to scientifically determine whether and to what extent human-caused climate change influence specific extreme weather events, like heat waves or floods. For businesses, this provides incredibly valuable data for risk assessment. Think supply chain resilience, infrastructure investments, insurance calculations. If you can better understand the changing likelihood and intensity of extreme weather, you can prepare more effectively. You can adapt your operations, make smarter choices about where to build or invest, and incorporate climate risks into your long-term strategy. It turns a global threat into a factor for strategic planning.
So it's about using data to make businesses more resilient. That's powerful. And on the environmental solutions side, I read about sun-powered chemistry, using sunlight to turn waste CO2 into useful stuff. How does that work, and what are the business possibilities?
Yeah, this falls under green chemistry, and it's really innovative. Scientists are using materials called photocatalysts. These catalysts, when exposed to sunlight, can trigger chemical reactions. The exciting part is using them to convert waste carbon dioxide, a major greenhouse gas, into useful chemicals. things that could be used in pharmaceuticals, plastics, or other industrial products. The business implications, well, potentially turning a waste product, CO2, into a valuable resource that could create new revenue streams. It offers a path to more sustainable manufacturing processes, and it could lead to entirely new, environmentally friendly products. It's about closing the loop, turning pollution into profit, which has huge long-term economic and environmental appeal.
Wow, CO2 as a resource. Fantastic. Okay, let's pivot now and really focus on the practical application of these technologies for you, our listeners, the future business leaders. How are they driving business efficiency and shaping decisions?
Absolutely. When we talk core business efficiency, enterprise resource planning, or ERP systems are central. You'll definitely encounter these. ERP is basically that big management software suite that tries to integrate almost everything a company does: supply chain, production, marketing, sales, HR, finance, accounting. It's all meant to talk to each other. But here's the modern challenge for businesses and for you managing them. ERP systems are now struggling to handle the sheer volume and speed of real-time data flooding in from the Internet of Things, from sensors everywhere. So understanding how to manage that massive data flow within an ERP context, that's going to be a critical skill for your careers.
Handling that data deluge sounds like a major hurdle. And that leads us right into business intelligence, or BI. What exactly falls under the BI umbrella, and why is it so vital for making good decisions today?
Right. BI is the toolkit for making sense of all that data. It's not just one thing. It's a whole set of strategies, processes, software applications, data technologies, and the underlying technical architectures. The goal is to collect, integrate, analyze, and present business information. BI often combines internal data like sales figures or production metrics with external data, maybe market trends or competitor activity. This gives you a more complete, holistic picture of the business to support better decision-making at all levels. But here's a key takeaway. For BI to actually work well in a company, it needs high visibility. People need to see its value. And critically, it needs strong, consistent support from the top, from senior management. Without that buy-in, even the fanciest BI tools won't deliver.
That executive support sounds crucial. Okay, and working alongside BI, we hear about decision science, DS, and big data analytics, BDA. How do these two fit together? How do they help execs get those on-the-fly insights we hear about?
Think of it this way. Decision science provides the how, the quantitative methods, the models, the algorithms for making optimal choices. Big data analytics provides the what, the vast amounts of diverse data needed to feed those models. When you combine powerful BDA with effective BI tools and DS techniques, that's when executives can start getting those near real-time insights. They can spot trends, identify problems, or seize opportunities much faster than before. But again, it all comes back to having well-managed data. You need good data governance and infrastructure to power those advanced analytics. For you, learning how to ask the right questions of the data and then correctly interpret the answers from these systems will be absolutely invaluable.
Asking the right questions.
Yeah.
Key skill. Okay, one more for improving how businesses work. Collaboration boards. Especially with teams spread out globally. What makes software like MT Canvas Connect special for team collaboration?
Collaboration boards like MT Canvas Connect are designed for today's distributed work environment. What's special is their ability to create a shared digital workspace where multiple people, even in different locations, can simultaneously view and interact with all sorts of content. We're talking images, videos, live data feeds, web pages, even connecting to remote PCs or pulling info from people's phones or tablets. It's designed for near real-time global teamwork. It usually integrates with standard meeting room tech like big screens. For businesses, this helps break down geographical silos. It can speed up decision-making because everyone sees the same information and can contribute simultaneously. It fosters a more dynamic, interactive, and inclusive way of collaborating, which is vital for innovation when your team isn't all in the same room.
Making global teams feel like they're in the same room.
Powerful stuff.
Okay, to wrap things up, let's widen the lens one last time to the political sphere. How are these emerging technologies shaping governance, campaigns, and even global conflict? This area often sees technology have really immediate visible impacts.
It really does. And data mining has become incredibly sophisticated in politics. Campaigns use it to analyze voter behavior patterns with amazing detail. They build models to predict how different groups might vote or track a candidate's standing with voters almost in real time. For campaign managers and political strategists, this data is gold. It helps them target specific messages to specific demographics, decide where to spend advertising money, and understand shifts in public opinion much more quickly. Politics has become intensely data-driven.
Data-driven campaigns, right? And then there's social media, platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. they've totally changed how politicians communicate, haven't they? Giving them that direct line to voters.
Completely. It allows politicians to bypass traditional news media filters and send messages instantly and frequently straight to voters' feeds. This direct access can be powerful for mobilization and shaping narratives, but it also changes the information landscape. It puts more onus on citizens like you to critically evaluate the information you see, because messages can spread incredibly fast, whether they're accurate or not, and you get those echo chambers. For businesses, too, monitoring that social media discourse is vital. Political sentiment online can massively influence consumer behavior and the overall market environment.
That direct channel is definitely a double-edged sword. Shifting to global security, how has cyber warfare, which is basically weaponized emerging tech, altered the nature of what military strategists call asymmetric warfare?
Asymmetric warfare is when you have opponents with vastly different conventional military strengths, like a large state versus a smaller group. Cyber warfare acts as a great equalizer in that scenario. It allows weaker actors to potentially inflict significant damage by launching sneak attacks against a nation's critical infrastructure. We're talking about targeting vulnerabilities in essential systems, the power grid, water supplies, transportation networks, financial systems, even healthcare. Modern economies are highly dependent on these interconnected digital systems. So for businesses, this means cybersecurity is no longer just an IT issue. It's a fundamental operational risk tied into national security. Every sector needs robust defenses and plans for how to operate if those systems are attacked.
Cyber resilience is absolutely critical then. Okay, and finally, within political operations themselves, how does cloud collaboration help teams work together, especially when they're spread out?
Cloud collaboration brings all those tools we use in business, things like video conferencing, shared documents, project management software, software as a service, or SaaS platforms into the political realm. It means campaign teams, policy groups, or legislative staff who are geographically dispersed can still work together seamlessly. They can co-author documents, share data securely, hold virtual meetings, coordinate strategy in near real time. It just makes political operations much more efficient, agile, and responsive, reducing the need for physical travel and allowing for quicker reactions to fast-moving events in today's interconnected world.
Well, that brings us to the end of this pretty extensive deep dive into emerging technologies. We've covered a lot of ground medicine, commerce, computing, society, management, and politics. We really hope this discussion has given you, our listeners, and future business leaders a clearer view of the incredibly dynamic and complex future you'll be stepping into and managing. Now, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Thinking about everything we've discussed, which emerging technology do you think will be the most disruptive, have the biggest impact on the business world in, say, the next 5 years? And why that one? Let us know in the comments below. We're really interested to see what you think. And of course, if you found this deep dive helpful, please do like, subscribe, follow us, and maybe share with friends or colleagues who are also managing the future. Thanks so much for joining us. Until next time.